Right, don't be nervous.
Ow! I went to college for graphic design, and through graphic design I got into motion graphics. Through motion graphics I got into filmmaking, and now I'm getting into letting go of the visual and really love sinking my teeth into sound design. Before we met, I went and saw Wendigo, which was playing at the Film Forum. And in fact, I emailed you after I saw it, and I'm not sure if you remember, but I just wrote to you to say how much I loved it and enjoyed really the family dynamic that you nailed in that movie. And you wrote back.
Oh, I did?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was very
what did I
nice.
say?
You were very kind, very nice response. And then we met at the wrap party for James Felix McKenny's The Off Season. Pretty quickly we started talking about, I was working for a visual effects company, and we started talking about the ROOST. And you guys had done some tests, some fun tests of you actually in some park in New York, just smacking yourself, and Bram animated some bats in. It was quite a scrappy, low-budget film, and the bats are fantastic. I asked you to star in my short film, The Resurrection Apprentice, a somber little drama about a young boy on his first night on the job as a grave robber.
I remember the first job I pulled. Nearly shit myself, didn't I?
We didn't really sort of decide what my role would be for a while, but we knew it would have something to do with visual effects.
Open your eyes! I don't see anything!
What was really wonderful for me in that project up there is that you surprised me by sort of shaking my hand one evening and letting me know I was the second unit director of the project, and that was great fun. As you know, I just really, really wanted to direct, wanted to be around actors and camera, so that to me was a giant thrill. I'm really pleased with how it turned out, but when I went to show it at festivals, there I was with this moody, sad little story, and you could hear a pin drop after it finished. And I was like, right, next I'm just going broad, And so I extended The Resurrection Apprentice into I Saw the Dead, and we added aliens and vampires and whatever, I just wanted the brief on it was to really get a reaction from the audience. It seemed like a good idea that we could reach out to Ron and get him the script and see if he was interested, which initially he was not. He got back and just said, there's not enough going on with this character for me. I don't want to, sorry, can't do it. And I was intrigued by that. I think we were both just intrigued by that. And Ron's been around the block, he knows what he's talking about. So we looked at the character and actually gave him an arc and sent it back to Ron, and I'll never forget what he said. And he's like, I've only one more question. Where do I sign? Peter Hoke came up with the idea of Dominic Monaghan because Peter's a big Lost fan. Peter reached out to Dominic's people, and unbeknownst to us, he had just been written off of Lost. And so it was good timing. Dominic was reading. We also, on top of the script, we sent Dominic the comic book. And I think that went a long way. Dom's a big comic book fan.
What do you got there? Sandwich. What which?
Sandwich. It's food.
Food.
2 lumps of bread with something in the middle. It's genius.
The cast, of course, we also brought in Angus.
Speak of the devil.
Sort of we figured out if he did McKenny's movie and yours, it was worth the flight. I mean, that's how carefully we were pinching our pennies always with these projects.
We had to lure him in a little bit, you know. It wasn't until I met with him and chatted with him that he agreed. Three perf, 35mm, so we felt like we were saving a little there, but to shoot a period horror film on digital just didn't seem right to us, and certainly with the names that were coming on board, we felt, you know, we'd push it and really sink our teeth into celluloid. Most of the filmmaking, I think we shot for 4 weeks, the bulk of the movie, and then we had to wait until Hellboy 2 had wrapped, and we were only praying that Ron would, you know, really still want to come out and do this scrappy movie with us, and he did, and we shot for another, was it a week? Yeah. We shot for a week with Ron, so, but I think there was a gap between those two, there was a gap of 5 months.
I need somebody to hold my dog.
Shackles again. Story of my life.
Those months in the edit were very humbling, you know, it was my first experience as a feature filmmaker. Having that period between the two shoots eventually became a blessing because, you know, we could go back and get what I needed, what I didn't quite get the last time, but also I felt much more seasoned.
Of course I'd forget the fucking shells.
That idea is what sparked the trouble with Dad more than anything else, that, you know, you trust your fellow humans and you trust that they're going to do right by you, and really, maybe you shouldn't.
What? What's wrong?
You're forgetting again.
We built an entire cross-section through Earth to a coffin, and it was a lot of fun.
I've decided to stay at home after all.
It's got to register as a countdown, but just throw in a bunch of stuff. Every one of the directors I worked with had a slightly different way of getting what they needed out of me. I liked working with myself the most because I knew what I wanted for I Saw the Dead. I also did the countdown for the House of the Devil. I just knew that there was some devil worshipping going on, so I did this incredibly arcane, demonic countdown for Ty. It was like something out of Altered States meets The Omen, and Ty just looked at it and said, "No, Glenn, I'm sorry, it's just not my movie." So Ty came in and we worked on a much more restrained palette for Ty, and I remember at the time thinking, but I've got all this insane imagery, and Ty was like, no. You and I and Jack were in a car and we were driving up to the set of Stakeland because I was going to direct one of the short films about the main character, Martin. But on the way up, and you threw on an old Boris Karloff radio play, it just went insane. He brings his wife back from the dead. By the end of the play, she's just roaming around an old mansion, stabbing people. And it was in the air, I turned to you and said, God, we have to do these, you know, we have to do radio plays. Season 1 it felt like such a triumph. There was a sense that let's keep pushing ourselves rather than just go back to the studio. Could we do them live?
Let's go, borrachos.
So then we had our live space, and this reminds me when I was a 16-year-old, I was in a little punk band, you know, and we would book a gig, and then we'd have, right, that gig's in 2 weeks, we better rehearse.
You look a little bit worried.
No, then he'll fix it.
Chilly in the house lights now. This is the look, right?
McQuaid, good?
Yeah, defo. Right, Larry?
It's awesome.
It is just tremendous with audio drama to be free of the restraints one has in trying to get a 90-pager approved by, as we move forward in feature films, approved by everyone, approved by cast, approved by producers and financiers and all of this, you know. So with Tales from Beyond the Pale, it's been so freeing, and since season 2, I think with season 2, I just allowed myself to just relax with it all and realize that we were doing this for ourselves, doing it for fun. There's no place we can't go, there's nothing we can't write about. Budgetarily wise, certainly we're not restrained, you know. And with our attitude and with the Glass Eye Pix attitude is just always the artist first, you know.
He did the bitch thing. I didn't get sick.
Cabs to face, Constable.
Kinda has the weight of a small child, don't you think?
Stripping away the camera and the makeup, the costume, all the toys that we love from filmmaking allows for a really clear, sort of pure collaboration between the actor and director. Getting to work with Stuart Gordon on The Hound was fantastic. Just being there in the studio and listening to him direct was wonderful. He's so charming and he's so succinct. It was great to be a fly on the wall and to see how he brought out the best in his actors while making everyone feel at home.
Come on up here. I'll make it worth your while. Kiss me.
Sure.
I think as a gay writer, director, Tales has been instrumental for me being able to open up about that, just that point of view.
Only problem with it was, and I called it, Frank is married. I'm sorry to hear that, Antonio.
That's okay, Mr. Elliot. I'll get through it. Though, as you know, I thought that he was the one.
To be able to have fun and the confidence to write from a gay perspective has been pretty interesting because it's something I avoided for a long time. And now the film I have in development is full-on queer cinema. It's interesting the journey that Glass Eye Pix and Tales from Beyond the Pale has paved for me.